Hi guys, how's everybody doing today? I'm here with Viola and we're going to do a demonstration on some hair cutting at home. So if some of you guys are getting really sick of maybe your bangs are growing out right now or the perimeter here, I'm just going to talk about those two things because hopefully nobody's planning on doing anything all that crazy during this big break we've got. So yeah, I'll just talk about some of the pitfalls and then also cutting your kids' hair at home and kind of how that acts. So yeah, let's get started. This is Viola. So Viola, she's already got a haircut and I hope that you can see this well. She has some undercut bangs that are pretty short, kind of funky. And then she has this kind of overhang. So we're going to pretend today like this overhang is what's happened to her hair while she's been at home this whole time and hasn't been able to see the hairdresser. So her bangs have gotten long. She can't see. Or maybe your kid's hair has gotten long and they can't, they can't get it out of their eyes. So we're going to talk about cutting these so that they land well and so they don't bounce up or get kind of crazy. So here's one thing that kind of already happened to her hair. Her hair grows straight out this way. You can see it comes out of the head kind of like that. So it already kind of sticks up a little bit here. You can see when I push on it. So the first, I guess the first mistake that people usually make is you'll push down on the hair and then cut it. And what happens? It's going to pop up and it's going to be a whole different situation. So then you keep cutting and cutting and cutting and it gets to be up to here and then you're like, I don't have any hair left. I have to grow it out. So what we're going to do with the bangs is we're just going to comb them down and let them live in their natural position. So you can comb it a lot and just kind of see where everything is falling. I'm going to focus on this undercut part right now just to even that out and just show you what I'll do there. So when we come at this, we're going to come at it like this. We don't need to be cutting bangs like this unless you really want an awkward straight line here. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit right there. She likes, it's a little bit of pieciness here. There's not a really hard line. Obviously, if you want the kind of bangs that are more straight across, we're going to do something different, but I'll show you that. So there we sort of, we got started. Let me just add a little bit more just to show you. And so come at it from the bottom. Like that. So yeah, again, with her hair, and because it was cut this short before, it's got a lot of bounce on it. I don't love this. And this is probably what would happen to your kids' hair or to your bangs if you were to cut them with a lot of tension like this, and then you would cut them that short. So really, for her hair and the way it lays, I probably wouldn't want to go, much shorter than that. We're going to give her another inch or something because that's super short and it just sticks straight out. So be cautious and leave as much length as you can because you'll have to grow it back. I mean, who knows? We could be at this for another month or two and then you'll have plenty of time to grow your crazy short bangs back. So let's try and do a longer section and just see what happens. So because she's already got this really short stuff that I don't really like, but it is what she had. Maybe it's the mistake that we made when we were trying to cut our own hair. I'm just gonna bring this at an angle. So we'll cut it kind of like that. So she'll have sort of a smooth angle down into the side there, but she'll still be able to see by getting rid of some of this hair. So we'll comb all this forward. And now I'm just going to kind of lightly open and close the scissors while I'm kind of lightly, gradually pushing and cutting. So there's already sort of a nice angle going. I'm going to do a little bit more of that just to get that bit above her eye out of the way. And again, I'm not putting any pressure on the hair, because if we do that, then like if we did this, maybe I'd be tempted to cut this a little bit shorter because it's still in her eye, but it's going to pop up. So you don't need to do that. Okay, so there we have something a little bit better than before, I think. I don't know. You guys agree? All right, so now she can see again. It's feeling a little bit chunky and heavy though, so I'm just going to kind of piece into it. And this is where you can just come at it from the bottom and just take out little tiny bits in here. This is like kind of a little bit of texturizing, it's called. You want to give a little texture in there, unless you want it to be really blunt, and then you can just leave it that way. So this is just a super easy way of doing this. You can also, you know, cut into it lightly like that. Hope the lighting is okay on this. All right. I'm going to lighten into that piece a little bit. Maybe you think, oh, that looks kind of thick. We'll just do really light opening and closing of the scissors here. That's how we get that kind of texture. So that's not too bad. She's feeling better for the moment. She can make it through the next month. She can see. And we didn't do anything too drastic that was going to cause it to really pop up. And yeah, it's laying nicely. And this looks maybe a little bit more normal like that. So there you go. So there's a little advice on bang trims. If you're going to do a straight across trim, then really you just can do the same thing. Comb it all the hair down that you want to be fringe, and then you'll cut it across this way like I showed you, and really just give yourself a little bit of extra length, and then you can always keep cutting a tiny bit and keep combing it in between that. So one thing that I really recommend for kids haircuts is you can get some of these thinning shears, and you can just order these online and just look up thinning shears, or see if I can get that in focus. They have little teeth on them. There you go. These ones take out, I think it's 28%. There are some that take out like really big chunks. I wouldn't recommend that. It's just going to be a little messier. So what this does is it's going to take out a little bit of hair at a time. So you can take it, I mean, let's say, we're just going to cut this big piece, just show you what it does. And now let me comb that. So it really lightened that piece up, but it didn't completely destroy it, you know? So I would start a little bit lower. This is great for kids' hair because usually for kids' hair, it's like you cut one little piece and you can see every single little line, and it just turns into something that gets really harsh. So this is like a really great safety net. So get some thinning shears. Then another way that you can cut kids' hair that I really like is by using a razor. Now this is a razor that has a guard on it. So just look up like hair cutting razors. This type of razor is not going to cut anyone. You can, at all angles, it's fine. So it's really safe to use on kids' hair. So what you would do with that is just take a piece you want to cut and just lightly razor off the end. And that gives a very loose, kind of light, texturized sort of feeling. So again, this is going to give you something that's not so much of a blunt cut. And it's very safe and nice to use on kids' hair. It does work a lot better, and I do recommend that you use it on wet hair, but keep in mind with wet hair that it might pop up a little bit more when it dries. So you want to really give a lot of space and a lot of length to the hair that you're cutting. So there we go. We just added some more texture there to her bangs. Now I'm going to show you how to cut the back. So look at this. So she's got some kind of crazy points going on and stuff. Let's say that in this wild time, your you know, the back of your hair, you're used to having it kind of clean and like this, or maybe your kid's hair is like kind of clean and bobbish or something. And it's doing this crazy wing out kind of thing, and it's just sort of, it's turned into a mess and you can't stand it, and it's popping up on your scarf or whatever the problem is. So let's see, maybe get her a little bit closer. All right. So here you can put the head down a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that same technique of cutting into it from below, just a little piece at a time. And that's going to help you to stay away from getting big, blunt, weird lines that you then feel like you have to fix later. So I'm just going to slowly go through this. Okay. So how's that feeling? That looks a little bit better. It's a long piece. There we go. All right, so that kind of just evened that up. You know, we can cut into this bottom piece a little bit more too. And just really cleaned it up. I'm not going to get too much into layering and stuff like that. Something that you can do on your own, or well, on the person that you're living with. Hopefully you're with someone who's going to help do this. So what you can do is you can grab, let's say, grab this piece of hair that's towards the bottom, and whatever hair that is falling on top of that, you can cut down into a little bit. Let's see if you can see this. There we go. So that's all I'm going to tell you about layering a little bit, just to make this a little bit more loose and less heavy. But again, you can just keep at it, cutting it like this. Really soft, makes really soft lines. Should we do the other side? Let's see. Whoa, yeah, she's got a wild haircut, this one. So again, we're just going to do the same kind of thing. Cut into it from the bottom until you get something that looks a little bit more reasonable. Keep combing it. Oops, her cape is falling off because she doesn't have any shoulders. Viola is lacking in the shoulder department. She's just a floating head. Okay. If you haven't done this before, just take it slow. And, you know, hopefully if you're cutting your kids' hair, maybe they have a little show they can watch or something that they really like so that they'll stay still, because otherwise this is nearly impossible on a kid to do anything really fine. But okay, you get the idea. So then I'm gonna just do what I did before, grab some of the top hairs here, just cut down into those, just to give a tiny bit of layering there. And I do that just by very gently opening and closing the scissors. All right. Let's see how that looks. Well, she's a lot more evened out. This is quite thick over here, but oh, there goes her cape. Anyway, those are just a few kind of things about cutting hair at home. And again, like I said before, when you're cutting kids' hair, these will save your life. These thinning shears, I'll show you. I mean, you can make mistakes with them, but if I, let's say, just cut all the way into that, then you can see that is a little bit lighter, but nothing disastrous happened. Now with thinning shears, I will say they are sometimes not the best things to use on curly hair. So if you're working with curly hair, I maybe would stay with a straight scissor. It makes it look kind of frizzy if you really cut into it with thinning shears. But yeah, I'm just taking a little bit of the weight out. And also we'll break out the razor again, just to show you how that is on the back. Just takes a little bit of hair out. Cool. Does anyone like her haircut? She was clearly a model for something cool. All right, so I hope that helped you guys out today, and I hope you feel armed to clean up your bangs or the back of your hairline. Hopefully you've got someone in the house to help you out. Otherwise, I would say stick to the bangs. It's really hard to do the back of your hair by yourself, and might look kind of crazy. But anyway, nice to see you here, whoever's watching this, and if this is helpful at all, or you like it, you can always pass me a Venmo or PayPal that I'll link down below. Just doing these videos to keep myself entertained and keep in contact with you guys, and while I'm not working. So thanks. See you next time.